Hey guys, what's going on? It's Government Fish here, and today I am going to be counting down my top 5 most annoying players in Star Wars Battlefront. Now, chances are you've probably dealt with these types of players before because they are very common, or chances are you are one of these players. Either way, it's annoying, and the main reason I'm making this video is to make it a point that these issues that come up should be addressed for Battlefront 2, because as it is, I am not getting Battlefront 2, although I want to. So I am waiting until after release to see if the main problems of the first game have been fixed, and that will be the determining factor whether I get that game or not. But let's get into this list, and we'll start off with number 5, which will be the back-to-bomb spammer. Now, this player, yeah, you could use the excuse, the back-to-bomb is used to support other players and you can get points for that, whatever, but how often do you actually see players using that to help other players? Basically only at the beginning of matches. Right when the match starts, they throw it on the ground. But every other time, you will get into a one-on-one with someone, and as soon as you start shooting at them, it will throw down a back-to-bomb and then pop a personal shield. Now, their loadout is usually a jump pack, personal shield, and back-to-bomb, which makes it so they can just escape instantly from any situation, which I think is obviously pretty annoying, but it happens all the time. So it's just they need to fix the health problems for Battlefront 2. Like medical class, I'm pretty sure that's more supportive for teammates, not just like self-healing. So hopefully that's good. Now for the next one, number 4, we got the 9num spammer, or just camper, more likely. This is a type of player that picks 9num every single time in mostly Supremacy and Walker Assault. And what they like to do is just spam orbital drops and keep using the pulse cannon weapon that 9num has. I think it's the rapid cannon or whatever it's called, and they just spam that like over and over and just keep sniping people cross map. And if you ever try to get close to him to stop him, there's usually proximity mines all over the place to stop you from getting close. So it can be really frustrating and mostly annoying when you're trying to fight other players who are playing the game not as a coward, and they're just like spawn camping and all that garbage. So that's why he makes it to this list. And at number 3, I am gonna go with the personal shield spammer. Now, as I mentioned before with the back-to-bomb, all this person tries to use the shield for is to escape, where I always saw the shield as a tool to use during objectives. When you're like capture the flag or drop zone or joy run, you use it to capture an objective to help out your team, not just to run away and survive for another like minute or however long. So that too is pretty frustrating, and they usually have the same loadout as the back-to-bomb spammer, which would be the back-to-bomb, personal shield, and jump pack, which is just to help them survive longer, which usually they die pretty soon anyway, because I always get an assist on them. But it's annoying nonetheless. Now for number 2, this one is kind of an older one and a more obvious one, but still not the most. It's still not the most annoying, but it's up there. It's the person who only uses the EE4, and I know a lot of people this is mostly everyone either dislikes anyone who uses it because they know it's overpowered, or the people who use it knowingly that it is overpowered, which can be really frustrating. It takes like 2 shots, 3 shots, whatever, of the burst rounds to kill someone, and when it's just very unbalanced when it comes to the gameplay, when there's all these other weapons to be used and they pick the one that is way overpowered. Now, I know this is mostly the EA's or DICE fault for not fixing that weapon or balancing it, but it also comes back to the players for keep abusing it and won't use anything else. So that's number 2. Now I want to go through some honorable mentions before I get to number 1. And for number honorable mentions, one of them is going to be like the 9num. This one's going to be Bosk, which is a player who's really good with the hero Bosk and likes to stay in the back and just shoot people with his Relby blaster and keep getting kills and keeping his health up to 100. Now, if these players are like really good, then they can just survive the whole match, which, you know, on one hand it does take some skill to do that, but on the other hand that's kind of unfair to the other players who are trying to get heroes or maybe need to get heroes for some challenges or achievements or whatever. So they didn't make it on the list compared to how annoying the other ones are, but this one still is bad. Still pretty bad. And another honorable mention I will say is the DH-17 user with explosive shot. Now, explosive shot by itself is a different problem, but the DH-17 with explosive shot is just specifically that combo is pretty overpowered, especially in blast matches when they get a back-to-bomb and a jump pack, and they can just go around and tear through you in like a few hits up close. So it's pretty overpowered, and a lot of people use it, and they use nothing but it. Now, for number 1, you might have guessed it, it's going to be the people who spam explosive shot. Now, if this has always been my reasoning behind this, if you're good enough to land as many hits as most people do, they don't need explosive shot. All it does is land an advantage, and pretty unfair advantage, against other players. Now, I believe it was nerfed early on, when on release of the game, closer to the beginning of the game, but it still became a problem where basically if you came up against anyone with explosive shot, they just turn it on and they would win the battle almost every time. And they never came up with anything to really counter the explosive shot. And you could say personal shield, but then that wouldn't get you very far. You could just like try to run, but they'd probably just hunt you down or whatever. But so yeah, explosive shot is a bigger problem than I'd say personal shield, because since then I've come up with a way to deal with personal shield users by just using ion shot, which is pretty hilarious when they think they're gonna get away with using it, and then I just shoot it down like instantly and kill them. So that's a pretty good way to use it. And then the 9num, it's still pretty annoying because the only real way to deal with it is to just avoid him, which in big maps like Hoth or Solist can be pretty difficult, which would just limit you to inside corridors, which are pretty small and you can be killed pretty quickly in those. But yeah, so those are my top 5 most annoying players in Star Wars Battlefront. Let me know if you agree with this or disagree, and if you have other experiences with annoying players, please let me know. But that's gonna be it for now, and hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you later.